everyone, this is Evelyn and I have my 7-deck Twin Flame read for you, as well as my message of the day from the Metatron deck, Nature's Whispers, and the Shaman Dreams deck. Very significant messages again today. A lot about the summer and winter triangles also came up regarding the Sirius alignment coming up on 8/8 on Lionsgate. Let's take a few deep breaths first. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Okay, you might see Teddy walking around. He's very curious. I was just using my tuning forks and he really liked those sounds. He wasn't sure what they were, but it was funny. So let's go ahead and roll the die for you guys here, and then I'm going to get right into that message of the day read for you. Today is the 29th of July, 2022, and the day adds up to 42-6 today, which is the 2 of Cups. The 29 is the 3 of Wands, so being very present in the moment, present to your gifts, and those one-to-one connections, which can be you and your higher self as well. All right, let's roll the die. So July 29th, 2022 for the Twin Flames. What is our energy for today? Okay, we have Venus here. So you have Taurus and Libra associated with Venus. Okay, just focus that in a little bit. So love, and I think there's an alignment with Venus coming up too. I think astrologically somebody was just talking about Leo and Venus, I think. And then we have Libra here again. So Libra, a lot of balance and justice. And then we have the 12, which is the Hanging Man, which is usually associated with Pisces, but I would see it as Capricorn, and it is the month of Capricorn as well. So Sagittarius can be there as well. So mostly we have Libra and Taurus, and Pisces and Capricorn. So that's a nice balance. So love and balance and wisdom. That's a really nice energy. All right, so first we're going to look at the message of the day. And here's my usual 3 decks. The top deck is the Metatron deck. The underlying energies here, the way they came out organically, and then these 3, and then I had to count a pile of cards here. Same thing for the Nature's Whispers. The underlying energies here, the way the cards came out, 1 and then 2, and then 3 again. These 3 and 3 came out in the same way. And then the pile to count. There was no pile actually in the first deck today. I had to count a pile in this one, and then the third deck. Again, the underlying energy from Shaman Dreams, the way the cards came out, and then the pile right here. So there were actually 15 cards in this pile and 20 cards in this pile today, the way the numbers came out. So here we go for this read. This was done at 8:08 this morning. And well, first the 8:08, I actually pulled the cards at 8:18 to 8:19, actually through to 8:24, because it took a bit. And then sirens went off at 8:20 while I was doing that. At 8:24, when I finished, was the underlying energy of the Dragon Fire from the one deck. The next deck was the 19 of the Sun and clearing out the old. Or excuse me, Dragon Fire's 19. Clearing out the old is the number 5 of the Hierophant, but also change, freedom, and expansion. And the third bottom of the deck was the Empty Well, which is 16, and the 16 is the Tower of sudden changes. Sudden changes, epiphanies, sexual exchange as well. There's a lot of fiery energy there between the explosion of the Tower and the 19 of the Sun and the 5 of freedom, change, and expansion there. So a dry spell, as we start at 8:24, is the 8 of the dance between the masculine and feminine, inner and outer strength. as well as manifesting your dreams. The 24 of the Queen of Wands, that's also Omega. The Dragon Fire and the Dry Spell, to burn away the old for change and sudden need to replenish. Getting your wish with family time one-on-one. Going with the flow. And then the King of Swords, 51, to purify with the sun, to burn. The Two of Cups, which is at 42, 1-1, and letting love guide you. As the Page of Wands, 26, is excited to be true to your heart with your natural glow. The 28 of the Twin Flames, or choice of path, and making preparations around the globe for freedom, change, expansion, and clearing out the old. The Falling Angel, the Leo child, in child's pose, fully into being whole and complete and taking their first breath. Getting back all of the pieces of your fractured soul and sewing the quilt back together. Piecing the puzzle into place to close the door, imploding for good in a fast rewind, like if you saw a show, go back and rewind really fast. Back to the beginning, behind the closed doors, an empty well with a portal of unknown destination and a sudden need to fill it up. When one door closes, another opens, but what will it be? A visit to Earth with mom and dad, who may be snickering right here to themselves in that picture I always show you of the two little munchkins in the mushroom, which is that energy of glee. And they're describing here the process of coming into a birth. You are the soul, getting back all the pieces of your fractured soul and seeing the quilt put back together, the piecing of the puzzle into place. To close the door, imploding for good after all that explosion, and the fast rewind, back to the beginning. Behind closed doors, an empty well with a portal of unknown destination and sudden need to fill up. When one door closes, another opens, just like the double doors. But what will it be? A visit to Earth with mom and dad, who are snickering to themselves about what's to come because you don't know. And first is the dolphin, representing the sperm. And the King of Swords is coming up with the dolphin representing the sperm. And the icosahedron, because she matters, because she is matter and is the chariot of water and emotional well-being. So there's this energy of, again, that goes back and forth throughout this whole read of the masculine and feminine symbols, basically. So the dolphin representing the Lemurian energy of the feminine, the Queen of Swords. But first, the dolphin represents the sperm, and the icosahedron, because she matters, is the chariot of water and emotional well-being. And then the struggling tree of the wounded warrior, not feeling good, with the culmination of vision and not quite manifested yet. So kind of like, you know, when you're nauseous when you're pregnant. And then the root girl, the 46 of the disowned self, that little girl at the root who no longer gets to be the little girl anymore. And then the new little baby who's cold and displaced after birth. The mother and child in separation at 841. The 8 of the dance of manifesting your dreams, and the 41 of that self-love, spiritual love, and new love that's just come into fruition. Freedom and emptiness at birth all at the same time. The dragon and the dolphin looking their separate ways, of fire and water, of feast or famine, right? Coming into that 3D world and just assuming that water and fire don't mix. The King of Swords is the dragon fire, and the Queen of Swords, 52, is the dolphin water. The Atlantis and Lemurian, Puff, the magic dragon, and Big Bird. Puff is dragging on, and Big is a bifurcated path. The dragon with pyramid, so he likes to play with fire in the middle, and likes to cause drama, while Big Bird with the rainbow triangle bridge, trying all the angles to get him to come down off of his high horse. The King of Swords purifying, the Queen of Swords powering them up with silver and gold, the mighty sword and the Holy Grail. The sword and the G rail, right? The S word and the G rail of the sword and the grail. Sophia's sine wave. So this is Sophia, S-O-P-H-I of phi, and then the A, which is the 0 of source embodiment with connection. So Sophia is the S of the sine wave, and the word, and Sophia's word is S, and God's railway station. So, and that sounds like, you know, the train coming into the station. Sophia of the S word is the Sophia word, and then the G is, so it's coming up as the masculine, feminine, God heads. The S word is Sophia, and the G rail is God. The sound of Sophia's sine wave word and God's railway, and them coming into the station. So at 8:50, which is the dance again, and the 29 of the being present in the moment. Well, the 50 is the 10 of cups, rather, of the emotional fulfillment or happy family there. And the arc between them, between Sophia coming into the station and God's rail, the arc between them is the chariot, the inspired rainbow created by the sun breaking on the water, breaking through the autocumulus clouds, exposing the wings of angels who ride upon thee, the divine feminine within the masculine ascending as one, supported by the mothership carrying twins. The divine feminine's chakra system powers up the divine masculine's arc. She is the up button and he the elevator lift. She is the portal and he is the bridge. She is the sea and he is the ship. She the ethers and she is the air that he breathes. He leaps across and she holds space aligned with the star, coming into Sirius alignment to Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse or Betel. Jews is J and two U's. So it literally comes out as the BETH-EL is literally the house of God in Hebrew, and then Jews is Je in French, and the W, which is two U's. So it's literally saying the house of God, I two U's. I am two U's. This is Betelgeuse. The alignment to Betelgeuse in the winter, trying angles to Procyon, Procyon, of Sirius and Procyon, numbers 1 and 8 in brightness. They're both binary stars with white dwarf planets, or stars rather. By the way, Procyon peaks on January 14th, and Sirius is glowing, scorching binary star, a blue star with white dwarf, dog star, and it represents the dog days of summer when the deluge came in. And again, Canis Major, which is the greater dog. And by the way, the apparent magnitude came up there on Wikipedia as 844. So there's that energy of the 44-8, and which can represent Lion's Gate as well, because it's the 2 8s. And in about 210,000 years, Vega will actually become the brightest star, no longer Sirius, because it will start to fade away. Sirius on 7/19 rises before the annual flooding of the Nile. That's what they used to use it for. It's like a marker for when the flooding would come in. And worship is goddess Sopdet, which is the Egyptian SPDT, which means triangle, or Sothis triangle. The Sirius effects from being affected by Sirius are being starstruck and flaming. The moth to the flame, Sirius and Zeus to bring cool breezes. And if it rose clear, then there was good fortune to be had. But if it was misty or faint, then there was pestilence. The dogs and the stars emanating rays. April 25th, when they set, would then sacrifice a dog with incense, wine, and a sheep to the goddess Rohigo to prevent wheat rust. And this is all from Wikipedia, you can look it up. But Sirius for the Polynesians was about navigating the Pacific Ocean, served as a body of the quote-unquote great bird, Manu, with Canopus south wingtip and Procyon the north wingtip, creating two hemispheres, marking winter, south hemisphere, and then summer in the north. Betelgeuse is the 10th brightest star. It's considered a red supergiant, so you notice we have a red, white, and blue triangle here with the winter triangle. I want to see what cards are becoming purple right here. Hold on one second. It's right in front of the O and the V. And it's right next to the Hermit and between the 7. Okay. So literally these 4 cards right here are being illuminated in purple. And that's the 6 of Wands next to the Magician. Right? So, and they're actually both upright in the read, I believe. Yeah, so getting attention, success, and big manifestation. This can even be someone delivering news to the Magician who's manifesting big time. But actually the Magician's reversed over here, and they may be on break, perhaps without the tools to manifest right here. Well, let's see what else comes up with that. So Betelgeuse is the 10th brightest. So we have Sirius is the 1st, and then Procyon is 8, and then Betelgeuse is the 10th. It's the red supergiant, though, surrounded by what they call an envelope, which is like dust in the wind. Its own lost mass, so it's like a second planet, only it didn't hold its shape. It may be the result of a merger of 2 binary stars about 100,000 years ago, a double star system where 2 stars are orbiting around a common center of mass. Betelgeuse is described as a runaway star ejected from Orion OB1 association. Sounds like a homeowners association. Moving through interstellar medium, or ISM, and creates a massive bow shock, like the Rainbow Bridge, over 4 light years wide, where Betel's stellar wind crashes into the ISM. The red giants have burned most of their hydrogen, and this is why they do what they do, and they become really big. When they burn most of their hydrogen in the core, they then expand. And when they expand, the rotation slows down into what they called a figure skater effect, spreading their arms to slow down the rotation. And I was getting into that figure 8. But Betel rotates faster than they would think it should. Now, the picture of this explanation of how it becomes this big planet literally looks like the sperm and the egg. And the mass is the baby, as we just described, 2 parents having a baby. Bellatrix is the other shoulder of Orion, right? So Betelgeuse is the right shoulder of Orion, and Bellatrix is the left. Bellatrix was thought to belong to the Orion OB1 association as well, but they no longer believe that. It's much closer than the rest of the group. But they thought that Bellatrix had an unseen companion, right? The divine masculine, not seen. Bellatrix is called the Amazon star, the conqueror, and the lioness. And in the Wardaman people in northern Australia, Betelgeuse is called the owl eyes, flickering to Bella's sparkling pigment. So obviously they're flirting with each other. So the binary energy was coming up as the 2 planets, rotating around a center mass, which the center then is the catalyst, right, to their being binary in the first place. And how I always describe it to you is that the center is the victim, right, because we're the perpetrator and the savior on either end. So here is the center of the binary planets, the mass that I just described with Betelgeuse outside of itself is actually the catalyst to bring the 2 together. And then Betel came up as the house of God in Betelgeuse, Betel juice, which is then je, to use. But the house of God, which it comes up as North Jerusalem in the explanation of the Hebrew word Beth-El, and juice, G-E-U-S-E, in French actually means glove. And I got Michael Jackson right away, right? That purity of that one hand. And the glove is meant to cover, keep things pure, right? The white glove test, all of that kind of stuff. So this will come up again in a minute. So the other people that came up under the stars was the INTUIT people, literally intuition without the ION or the connection at the end. To the INTUIT people, Betelgeuse and Bellatrix is something in the south sky that would mark the spring and the lengthening of days in February and March. Two stars known as Akutajuk, which means, quote unquote, those two placed far apart. All right, so there's that twin energy again after I brought them up the other day as being the twins. Betelgeuse and Bellatrix coming together here. I was just getting the picture of the tree trunk with the limb growing out of it, which is coming up as Bellatrix. So in Arabic, Procyon, part of the winter triangle, is the SIRIAN sign, and Sirius, or the bleary-eyed woman, and the teary-eyed woman. That's Procyon and Sirius, and they come up together in many of the different cultures as both being the same thing. In Chinese, Procyon's considered part of the vermilion bird. In Hawaiian, the blossom. And in Tahiti, the star of the princess of brave heart. The Brazilian flag has the state of Amazonas, or the duck, on it, with Castor and Pollux stars on it as well as its hands. Procyon means before or in place of. It also means dog, like Sirius, but it also means raccoon, the masked one. Procyon also means scion, as an S-C-I-O-N, but also that translates to Zion as well, the descendant. The positive air, the guardian, the shooting branch off the tree, just like I explained, or the tip of the fishing rod. So Sirius is the dog of the deluge, the dog days of summer, and the triangle, causing starstruckness and flaming, right? So the dog started it all, right, by causing their energy to be radiated out and cause other people to feel starstruck and flaming and cause a flood of emotions. And then Betelgeuse and Bellatrix, Betelgeuse is the runaway red giant, whereas Sirius is the blue dog, the runaway red giant with a bow who figure skates and has owl eyes flickering and is a speed junkie, and the house of God's glove, where Bellatrix is the Amazon and the lion with skin and eyes that sparkle. And the B&B, according to the INTUITs, are those two placed far apart. Procyon, the bleary-eyed woman, where Sirius is the teary-eyed one, and Sirius and Procyon are both considered together in certain cultures the carpenters, the dogs, or the wolf pack, basically. So Procyon and Sirius are the wolves, the carpenters, and dogs, but Sirius alone is the dog in the triangle, with Betelgeuse being the house of God's glove, and glove is God's love, and the positive brother or guardian around Sirius. The raccoon, or the rascal of the bunch, perhaps, causing a flood or a deluge. And deluge is deluge, and luge is the light toboggan for 1 to 2 people riding in a sitting or supine position. Procyon and Sirius, again part of the winter triangle, are 2 dogs, 2 wolves, or 2 carpenters in a triangle where Procyon may be more of a raccoon with a mask and trash, and Sirius more serious, while Betel and Bella are INTUITs of B&B, 2 placed far apart, he a runaway red giant or tiger with bow, and she the Amazon lioness warrior with sparkling skin and eyes. As his spin slows at 10:19, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the sun, into that crazy 8 figuration, I want to say, into that figure 8 skating formation, into her territory after hanging out in Sirius's triangle of bad influences. Okay? And then, by the way, the Orion Nebula is also thought to be a gang, or a group of children, rather. You know, it's like the children are being held hostage in the nebula of Orion. And Sirius, I don't know why Sirius came up, but Sirius came up as flickering. So if Sirius comes up for someone, let me know. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. The INTUITs, there's a chart about their language. And again, this is Northern Australian people. Thought Rigel, which is the right foot of Orion, is the hunter trailing the runners because they dropped their glove. And glove came up in two totally different ways. It's so weird how it comes up the same. So, and also the glove has to do with, you know, a throwdown. Someone throws down their glove to start a duel, right? So we have not only someone dropped their glove, so now they're behind because they had to find their glove, but also is a showdown. You know, it's asking for a fight. So Rigel is the right foot of Orion, the hunter trailing the runners of Orion's belt, because he dropped his glove, which then dropped his right shoulder, which is Betelgeuse. And Procyon is a large man hunter who was thought to be too obese to hunt on the ice and was killed because the other men pursued him to go on the ice anyway because they probably wanted to get rid of him, and he fell through the ice. So the Intuit are a circumpolar people. They're not Northern Australia, that was the other ones. The Intuits are from the poles, from the North Pole. Canada, Greenland, Alaska, and Siberia, the North Arctic. So the Intuits are the ones at the North Pole. And again, don't forget, above Orion are the twins. So each shoulder aligns with each one of the twins in Gemini. Let's see what else was coming up here. Oh, by the way, that's also up at the North Pole. At the 69th parallel between November and January, they have no sun at all. And then the months after that, they have all light as well for a certain amount of months. But they go by because they can't do it by the way we do, because they don't have normal sun and moon, or light and dark rather. They go by the 13-month moon cycles, where Orion is only visible in the winter to them. So it's considered a winter constellation. Okay. I think that was everything from that page. So the loss of the glove was very significant here, which glove is also God's love, and the throwing down of the glove, which causes a duel, a challenge. At 1041 is the Wheel of Fortune, and the 41 of the Ace of Cups, where the King of Swords is the Atlantean and the Queen of Swords the Lemurian. Fire and water leap into the air in their rainbow chariot as the sun breaks on the water, and arcs to the mother, holding space and presence, aligned with ancient Betelgeuse. Betel or Betel, juice, or God's house and love, or house of God, where I am to use, because my expansion always creates duality. And the ascendant, remember, is your rising sign. So as you're ascending in your rising sign, which is interesting just in doing the read, because my rising sign is Cancer, which is the chariot, the vehicle of the feminine within the masculine rising in the ascension. The north node is the dragon's head, and the south node is the dragon's tail. And the 144-degree angle in astrology is the biquintile, or the lowercase b and the capital Q, where the 72-degree quintile is just the Q. So the Q is the 72 by 2. And the 2, the 72 and 72 is the 144-degree angle, is the biquintile. And then the other symbols of astrology were coming up, like the K on its side facing down is the 150 degrees, where the K facing up and is smaller is the 30 degree, or the semi-sextile, whereas the 150 degrees is the quincunx. So you can look up those symbols, but for some reason they were coming up here. It was very interesting to see the opposition, which looks like a pair of glasses without the ear holders on them, you know, just the two circles or ovals, and then the little connector in between. And the conjunction is just a circle with a line. So it's like the symbol for Venus or Mars, but without the details on it. It's just the line coming out from the circle, like the masculine and the feminine. And the glove was coming up as the glass slipper for Cinderella. It protects the hand that feeds it. So at 10:55 is the Wheel of Fortune and the Truth, the Excalibur, the Ace of Swords. As the endings came up with the 45 and the ancestors with the 34 and the authentic self with the 46 of the Six of Children in the garden, all of the colors of these three cards were coming up as the colors of compassion. For the endings in the sunset each day, for the ancestors showing their appreciation and healing in that energetic exchange with us, and for yourself, the inner child, and who are you? The key to your lineage is in the sunset, the energetic exchange of the 45 and 46, so they may be talking about parallels here as well. The 45 and 46 is also, I believe, supposed to be some of the healthiest area to live, because you shouldn't live close to the equator because you live a shorter life. And I believe 45th and 46 is actually an ideal place to be living. So the key to your lineage is in the sunset, in grieving the old to let it go every day, and alchemizing into something else, right? Allowing the negative to become something else, something positive, in the mother and child birthing process. So then we had the first card at 10:58 of the Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Swords, which for me is the 5D connection between the twins. The 35 of culmination of vision, and that's the Wounded Warrior. Done with the Wounded Warrior 3D path. And then the 13 of transition and the renewal to peace, of the 9 of the Hermit, which is the one in the all, right? The Hermit's the one who goes within, but it's also the 9 of the all collective consciousness, perfecting the setting with the baby in the nook of the tree in transition as the Hermit paints a pretty picture. It's like, and your intention was coming up so much during this read, to intend everything you want, including the 4 seasons. Like if the summer isn't going the way you want it to, then picture the perfect version of the summer that it should be right now. And I'm also seeing snow coming in, so there could be a lot of snow coming in early this year. And they did tell us this last year that we'd have a really cold winter, but I don't remember last winter being that way too much. Maybe it's going to affect more this winter. And it was coming up, I think, under Sam the Illusionist, talking about because of the clearing they're doing on the planets or the moon, we're literally using our energy. We're sending energy to them to do all the work that they were doing, especially clearing the moon and Mars last year. And so that it would take some of the heat away from the earth, causing more cold energy to come in. But we just had this drought, but I keep seeing snow coming in. So maybe this is where the snow is going to come in, because it was so dry this summer. There's going to be a lot of snow, or a lot of frost, at least in the morning. So the renewal of peace and the perfect setting of the Hermit, which is the one in the all, the baby in the nook of the tree in transition as the Hermit paints a pretty picture. And but there's that energy too. As I was looking at these pictures, my daughter was sitting in the chair next to me, and I looked up and the pictures looked like me and her sitting with each other. So again, there's very much that mother and child energy. And the tree outside the window. So we're, remember, we're connected with everything. And it's talking about the tree trunk as the masculine for when the masculine's not there. The tree trunk is the stand-in of the ancient ones. The 44 of the grounding, integrating, and mastering of love and seeking beauty in everything. The 17 of dreams coming true and the infinite blessings. Of the 39, which is the Knight of Cups, of being love in a clear endeavor of grounding, integrating, and mastering the dreams of the Knight of Cups. I was getting 11 candles here too, and the buck who wants your attention. And 44 and 17 equals 61, which is the year I was born, but it's coming up very significantly this year. The 61 is the risk card. It's that liar, cheater, thief card, but it's an inherent card of risk with the Knight of Cups, risking being love. At 11:26, a helicopter came over really close. It was 11 is justice and truth and balance and alignment. The 26 is the Page of Wands. And making a wish, blowing out your candles, but making it count. When you blow out your birthday candles this year, really intend your wish, because it is your birthday wish. And I was getting the 11 candles as 3 and 8, which then comes up as the 38 of the Queen of Cups, Mary Magdalene energy, plus 1, which is the 39, which is the being love of that Jesus energy, the 38 plus 1 for good luck, and a winter wonderland, and beautiful plasma ethers, and wishes covering your whole head. You know the little wishes you blow on? Covering your whole head, seeing all of your dreams come true by spreading fairy dust wishes across the land in a blanket of snow as the headdress turns to vines and a twinkle in your third eye, knowing that you actually did all this. Imagine snow to cool things down. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, double diamond that you are. Perhaps mother and child with special powers, and I'm getting big chills right now, painting each season the way that you would want it at 11:38. So again, the Queen of Cups coming up here, and Justice. Remember that winter is a time to renew as fall winds down, which is also the word for wind. At 11:39 is Justice and the Knight of Cups. And then 15 cards came out in this deck. And at the bottom of it all, and this is the Nature Whispers deck, at the bottom of it all is the is to open your heart to all that is, reflecting your inner swan in order to attract your other swan. And the Northern Cross, of course, was coming up with Cygnus there. And the 43 of Love Matters. Be true to you in coming together, because love matters. It becomes made manifest. The 43 of coming together and letting the old ship sail, and the new one to come in from the sky this time, perhaps. Perhaps a gift flies in from out of nowhere. And again, the wishes coming into you. So maybe you're going to walk into a whole bunch of wishes flying at you. The 36 is the Atlas energy of holding on to that brain on fire. Intuition, which is the Intuit people at the North Pole, and their connection of the twin towers of you and I. The Intuit, which is twin towers of you and I, ION, which is connection. Soaking in water or both to light up. The 45 of the need to be in water for empowerment here, right? Because 45 is normally grieving and purging or regretting something, which is emoting. But emoting, be in water for empowerment, to connect, to calm the seas. Of the 7 of the Chariot, amplifying your positive emotions. A little water with the Chariot is creating ripples amongst the ancient ones. So it's like the little girl walking in the creek. And her ripples that she creates is causing a lot of power to be created. Lots of water. So check out perhaps your local creek and put your feet in, so it's in the muddy water, which is the best way to manifest and connect, especially if you want to turn on a light bulb, per Elena Denon. And the 30 of the 4 of Wands of union and adventure of the home at 11:49, which is Justice, and the 9 of Cups of getting your wish. So lots of wishes here. The adventure of union across the continents, the suspension bridge, the mouthpiece at the Y in the road, the maid of the sea with a little of each piece. So we're saying that the maid of the sea, the mermaid, is part seahorse and vice versa. They've all got a piece of each other, which came up yesterday in the pieces of the puzzle, right? They all belong together because they each have a piece of themselves in the other. They can't work, it's that interdependence. You can't work without the other because each has a little piece of you. The pearls, or the pearlescence of the northern lights, and the star triangle above is seen with the moon here. So there's something specifically important about this setup. When you see the northern lights or the summer triangle here in the sky next to the moon, there's some significance here, and it might have to do with the meteorites right now, the meteor showers, and then going into Sirius. I know 8/8 is always important, but people are talking about 8/12 to 15 being very significant this year as well. In the astrological alignments, the 3 comes up here, which is Gaia, Terra. Remember, terrestrial is Terra's trial in the 4D. So the 3 is the Empress, the abundance of the earth, and the Empress celebrating differences of abundance with unicorns and dolphins, but they're both beautiful, right? You don't need to compare them. It's like comparing apples and oranges. They each have their own beauty. Between land and sea, rising up to meet each other. At the junction, at the shoreline, the 31 of chaos, of the sun coming in, of life in general, to be spontaneous and reach out and pull in a child to play. The 24 of the Queen of Wands and the Omega. The Queen of Wands here coming up as the Maid of the Sea on the seahorse, telling her to be your best self always, underwater blowing bubbles, and see the big picture of the lovers, of love, family, and community at 1209, which is the Hanging Man and the Hermit, and the All, the collective. Healing the South Pole with your hands and growing flowers up north. As the 27 is the Ace of Wands, of the third flame and inspiration, maintaining your childlike spirit to be inspired, and that's what inspired is, it's spirit. Even when it's cold out, play. The 20 of the higher ground and that wake-up call to action, the wake-up call to roses and fairies and growing extra high above the sheep. The 41 of the Ace of Cups and the Holy Grail, to be in service of love via self-love is the path. Feed the baby seahorse as the octopus teacher with the camouflage shells all around it, pretending to be something else to protect itself, but then relaxed and all open with the little baby seahorse with those you love. Show your support with the 40, that Page of Cups innocence, the small vulnerable ones, in not only the children and the animals, but the roses and the fairies and the birds, and the man in the canoe from afar. The 16 of the sudden events and sudden inner truths, close up in the tree trunk at the home base, what lies beneath. And the destiny of opening your heart, the enveloping of yourself in each other's arms. And remember that, because the star has an envelope of dust around it. Envelope yourself in each other's arms to the northern cross and light up. From Hercules playing harp on the way to Cygnus, serenading the swan, or did she harvest the gentle Orpheus to do it for her, like Cyrano, with the axis of Atlas. So Hercules here is coming up as the axis of Atlas, right? Because Atlas holds up the head, and the axis is the next vertebrae that supports the Atlas. And then Hercules was the one who supported Atlas by giving them a break and taking the world off their shoulders. And this was all at 1221. So at 1223, which is then the Hanging Man and the King of Wands, after being whole and complete with the 21, the root girl is the 46 of the inner children and outer children, and the heart home of inspiration, the Ace of Wands, 27, and straddling in two worlds, the Queen of Swords, with the King of Cups and his magician's sword with confidence, and the 61 of taking that risk with the whale's song. Suddenly the little one is inspired to a heart of compassion, because their heart is their home, with the Queen of Swords, realizing the Queen of Swords is straddling worlds with her foot, right? One in each world. And the King of Cups with his magician's sword, needing confidence in his magic. With the risky whale's song, it's like the sirens that he had to resist, bursting their bubble. But does he really need to resist? So here's that same energy of Hercules going by Lyra and the harp to pick it up on the way to serenade the swan of Cygnus. So here we have the northern, the northern triangle, where the other day was the story of the southern triangle and the southern cross. So, and Ophiuchus and Venus are close by to this as well. They're all right there, as well as the zenith above. So at 1226 is the Hanging Man and the Page of Wands. As the King of Cups divine masculine is the oval, the skinny oval, like the ellipsis. And the one who stole their heart with their song is the divine feminine circle, the O with the open mouth or open eye. The vertical and the horizontal, the opening and the closing, the sphere and the ring around the rosy, with offerings of posies and ashes or bright lights that blind us and cause us to fall down in order to rise. The 20 cards then came up there, where at the bottom of it all is the twins, the 28, and the howl of bone of hollowing out your instrument to play. And at the top of it all is the 14 of that higher love in the temperance card, and the drifter, the wake-up call of the drifter at 12:30, which is the hanging man and the union. The wake-up call of the drifter who's been flowing along, patient and balanced in a higher love, and the 48 of the walking away within, of the sky dancer, surrendering to go within, or at least let the wasp out, which happened to me yesterday, half orange and half yellow sphere, which is literally coming up as Betelgeuse because it's considered an orange star, but it used to be yellow a long time ago, which is why it would fit into the star at Bethlehem. The 41 is the Ace of Cups, that Holy Grail, the Moon Maiden, holding the moon up now on her shoulders, the Maid of the Sea, Bella with tricks up her sleeve, holding things up for new beginnings, with Axis stepping in for Atlas and becoming a bridge over troubled water, with 54, the message of the Page of Swords. I will lay me down. After the King of Hell, the King of the Hill gets the scoop on the lay of the land, and that was coming up in the picture that looks like Uluru. The initiation of the word, removing the sword and the stone in favor of the word and the tone, to soothe the savage Amazon lioness beast, Sereno with jeweled web, journeying of connections, or he's got a jeweled web of connections here, to the divine feminine lover's cosmic womb. And the 4 of the Emperor with cat ER pillar, so that could be someone getting a CAT scan as well, but also to do with the spine twisting. The cat ER pillar and the Emperor, and the opportunity here to unravel, to unwind the structure, undo the structure, the build or the spine, to learn how to wind it back up and refill the discs. As the Knight of Swords, 53, stranger who's curious to see what lies beneath, the seal seeking the kiss of the rose, playing hidey and seek. But the flying monk keys put out sleeping dust to night-night transition, as the watchers find peace as the totems in the desert or dry lands of the natives and aborigines, with unwritten covenant with the land as their vehicle, their chariot, and destined to dive deep when the waters come in. So it's all about timing with the natives, right? And the sky writing the fates, right? Using their signs and synchronicities and their understanding of nature for right timing and doing things. And right at 12:43, which is the hanging man and the coming together, a bird was really loud, like a crow would be, but I have no idea what kind of bird it was. It was very strange. It wasn't something I normally hear. So again, I wrote down the symbols from the skywriting Fates card, which looks like the hourglass on its side, the K, which I just brought up, but also K comes up as the shape of Orion, and Taurus. The M of the mountain, the F of the expansion, right? The expansion and contraction are staying in the middle, reflecting a Phi. But then instead of the 2 flags coming together, today the 2 flags looked like they had a red dot, like the Japanese flag. So I looked up 2 things because Heidi and Seal came up. So I looked up to see if something happened where they were coming back together or something. And there was an article on July 11th, 22 about Heidi and Seal and their relationship, you know, where she's German, he's English. And of course, black and white. And then we have the secret angel and the serenader of 7 years with 4 kids. They met in a hotel lobby, which cracked me up because when we were just, when I was picking up Jenna in Atlanta, we were at a hotel and they allowed dogs there, but we were waiting for the elevator and Teddy decided he had to poop right there. So it's reminding me of that when Heidi and Seal were coming up at the elevator. It proposed 1223 at 14,000 feet in Whistler, British Columbia, in uncharted terrain on a glacier in a natural snow cave in an igloo built just for the moment with a guitar song before he went down on one knee, and they flew up by helicopter, and the igloo literally had bed and sheets in the igloo and rose petals everywhere. They were married on the beach with only 40 guests at a Mexican resort in Cuixmala, with a home close by in Puerto Vallarta. So then when I looked up Japan at 1259, which is the Hanging Man and the Five of Swords, the first thing came up was the city under siege by marauding monkeys, which I didn't read the article, but it's funny because monkeys has been coming up a lot in my reads this week. And also the quote-unquote white paper they were describing in the article regarding the issues around Japan and Russia and China and all that. China won't hesitate to unify self-ruling island of Taiwan. So they are, Taiwan's independent right now, but of course Japan considers them an integral part of their economy because, you know, they're also kind of protective thing for Japan. So it looks like, you know, China's trying to take over Taiwan. And Japan runs along all of the coasts of South Korea, North Korea, China, and Russia. And then Taiwan is below Japan, south, and it's closer to the coast of China, actually. So then we have the, at 108, which is the Magician and the 8 of the dance, we have the Queen of Cups with a 38 again, and the many masks of the authentic self of the Divine Feminine, the 45 of the purging and repairing the veil with forgiveness, and tying the pages back together like the quilt or the puzzle into a purging reconciliation of the 63 of the Winter's Dream, the suffering and silence, the grieving and suffering of the dream, the eye of the needle, the intentionality, the focused intent of the 8 in a dance of power and crown games, and off with their heads. Atlas's crown is removed for the Wailing Tree reconciliation. So the head's been chopped off, or the crown is wide open now. The 59 of the Five of Swords, post-war or virus, with the 28 of the Twin Flames, and the hollow bone of teachability of the perpetual students. The moose with a trunk or a dowry and a song, drifting along down to nothing but just bones. The elephant, gong, and the whale's tones, both needing the other to play with. All sorts of coupling going on here at 116 to 117 here, which is the Magician and the sudden events of dreams coming true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. So now I want to go to the 7-deck read on the table, which is 40 minutes right now. Okay. So here is the picture of the 7-deck read on the table. Okay, the main deck is the SIRIAN Starseed deck, and you see the colors of the numerology deck there. We have blue and orange. There's also yellow underneath. So the sacral chakra, solar plexus, and the throat chakra with the blue on top, which is a healing card. I cut this deck at 758, the SIRIAN Starseed deck. 7 is the Chariot, 58 is the 4 of Swords, the 5D connection. And then at 806, which I didn't look up before, GHER self came up. So let me just look up GHER, see what comes up there. And okay, so GHER, didn't come up right. So it doesn't come up by itself, but it does come up with an A at the end. So let's see what that one says. It's Swahili, and it's jealousy and zeal. So there may be some jealousy within yourself or of yourself. And then LF came up as well, which could be left, but let's see what else comes up with LF. So LF comes up as the leaf and the 2. So jealousy between the 2, and also USIC was coming up, which came up as, it means we or us, the USIC. But it's also coming up as the inner child of us, and the leaf, the 2, and the GER self. I'm also getting the G herself, which is the God herself, or Sophia. And that was at 8:06, which is the dance of the lovers. At 8:20, I finished clarifying. We still have that purple reflection on those cards in the middle there. So we'll see when I get to that. Remember that was the Four of Swords with the Magician reversed. And the Magician again is above it with the Six of Wands, I believe is upright. Yeah, it's right here. Here's the Six of Wands right upright. Along with the moon on the twins. So at 8:20, we have the Chariot as the major arcana, along with the Luna, Moon, the Strength, and the Higher Self, which is like the High Priestess. Before the read is the Wheel of Fortune and the Shadow, which is the Devil in this deck. And then we had 3 Wands, 1 Sword, 2 Pentacles, and 1 Cup. And the main court card was just the Page of Cups in the read. We also had the 9 of Pentacles, which is the Sovereign, so it's not a court card, but it definitely can be a person. And then the only doubled numbers was the 22 of the Fool's Journey, the Fool and the Fool's Journey. And then we had number 4 being very significant of the Emperor, but also the stability of the home. And then 7, 8, 9, 10 begin again, all came up together, which is the 7, 8, 9 of the 5D, and then the 10 of that high vibe transition. So the code line was all about music, and the M was separated from music, which came up as us or we, and the M of the mountain, the 2 mountains coming together. The muse of the inner child of music. And the numbers on that code line came up as 33 from 29 and 4, but also possibly 2974 came up as one whole number, which reduces to 22. 2974 or 33. So the code line was all about music and the muse of the inner child. And the messages just came up as these. The 29, which is the 3 of Wands, of the sap, the essence of life. Being present to that essence. The 4 of Wands of the home and union, and the strength to the nth degree of thy music, right? Your inner song. The 2 hermits in the chariots. The life essence powering up the union of strength, and the 8 dance, the crazy 8s, the poetry to imagine the mountain of us, the US inner child, the muse of the inner child, and the mother using their inner child. So besides us and we, Usic also comes up as the number 2 or 3, and the leaf, and the owl, and the tree kangaroo. And then it also came up messaging. It was storming this whole time in the beginning of this read. The higher self hermit with the essence of home to the nth degree to complete music, or the muse of the inner child. And this whole time that I was writing all this, Teddy was underneath my feet because he was scared of the storm. So planning a new life, destined detoxing of disconnect or being at a distance, not seeing eye to eye, of the twin flames reversed, or out of options, right? Not being able to implement a path that you've planned. And this is the energy here. I didn't pull all the cards I normally do. I wanted to make it a little bit shorter than it's because it's been getting really long. But we have the twin flames as the bottom card beneath the little cards here, as well as the 2 of cups right beneath it, but they were both reversed. So there were 2 2s reversed with the shadow beneath that and the destiny card. But the Wheel of Fortune was upright though. So planning a new life, destined, detoxing, perhaps without options or unable to implement the plan right now, dumping a load or burden or responsibilities on the Queen of Cups reversed, and ending a conflict and coming clean, or perhaps cleaning things up, or cleaning up your life. With the Page of Cups upright and the Knight of Cups upright, and the Lovers upright as well. We have the Page of Cups innocent love with the Knight of Cups lovers, with the King of Pentacles to follow away from the King of Swords reversed. Dumping a load on the Queen of Cups reversed, perhaps, in order to recover at night, or with Cancer Queen of Cups reversed, in injustice of coming together with the Queen of Wands reversed. Or Gemini, Cancer, and Libra all upright, but Libra's also reversed here as well as Capricorn. The injustice of celebration with the Queen of Wands reversed, and the King of Swords dumping on the Queen of Cups reversed to come together with the Queen of Wands reversed, perhaps with no shoes, and the Queen of Wands reversed without their familiar, or a kid's party with the Page of Cups, Knight of Cups, and King of Pentacles, perhaps between the King of Swords reversed with Libra and the Queen of Wands reversed. perhaps withholding, destined at detoxing at a distance, without the twin flame, with the Queen of Wands reversed holding on after keeping to themselves and working to align and see new perspectives of the streetcar named Desire, and holding two different ways of doing things, the horizontal and the vertical. So at 9:03 is the Hermit and the Empress, is the working on the T, the capital T, of the time out energy, but also could be toggling up. Ballet slippers were also coming up here, and a city view, or working to get Pisces or Capricorn a city view, or a practical apartment or condominium, unable to get them ocean views, and that can be for vacation as well. Keeping to self for peace of mind, with blue skies when the skies are really all gray, with soulmate. That's funny too, my daughter was just mentioning how gray the skies are up here as compared to Atlanta. Soulmate came up here, and also below that was calling in your soulmate. As the Fool is free to end conflict, with the Page of Wands upright, with romance with Cancer, Queen of Swords upright, where Aries is free to go out, and the Queen of Swords is home at night, perhaps with the Page of Wands. But as the clock strikes midnight, the Prince turns back into a frog, and the Page of Wands is excited, and the flame is right there, or a bonfire on the beach, or at the mountains, and Lobster is finding their pearl. The Page of Wands is romancing the stone, as the Queen of Swords is unable to look at her masculine reflection, celebrating without her, or left her for a child, at 9:13, which is the Hermit and the Death or Transition, or Dark Night of the Soul. With Aries and Cancer upright here, and Air, healing with the 66 of the Queen of Pentacles, or the Golden Gates. The effort of the 13 as well here, in a big transition of the Queen of Pentacles, with the High Priestess with an open heart, or Pisces, King of Cups, or Pisces and King of Cups with Pisces in his chart, may be unable to sleep or awake and now coming out. The King of Swords is upright at night, so an air sign there, with the King of Pentacles upright, an earth sign, or Cancer romance between the King of Swords and the King of Pentacles. So all three kings were coming up here. The King of Pentacles, King of Swords, and in two different places, all three kings came up. The King of Cups, King of Swords, and King of Pentacles. The dogs are howling, with the crab pretending to be a lobster. And the King of Cups is awake with the King of Swords and King of Pentacles at night. With Pisces both upright and reversed, and Cancer upright here, or Pisces is upright and Scorpio, a Scorpio with Pisces in their chart as well, with three kings in their life. Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer, or water and earth and air. The King of Pentacles is upright without options, with the Queen of Wands reversed holding on to the Queen of Swords upright, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed healing. So here there's three queens. In the recent past, it's the Ten of Wands reversed. Perhaps you had to come back downstairs or go back down to the basement, or repeating steps here, with the Ace of Wands reversed and the Ace of Swords upright, frustrated with no growth and presenting the truth, with the Six of Cups reversed, falling out or a negative past, with the Ten of Cups reversed, family or cycle that's so over, with the Page of Swords reversed in negative self-talk and withholding or being immature, playing hardball, with the Three of Cups reversed, third party or bad influences, with the Queen of Wands reversed and the Four of Cups upright, where she may be bored and working to align or released to hang out with the Knight of Swords, delivering messages. The foundation, and by the way, I wanted to bring this up in the prior read too, about the deluge coming up. So we may have some flooding after the drought. So, look out for that kind of stuff coming in, snow and flood waters. So the foundation here is the Nine of Pentacles reversed, which can be a dependent or just powerlessness, or perhaps overspending, or having to make a big purchase as an independent person, or a big expense in general, after healing to be self-satisfied, with the Knight of Wands rushing back in a divorce or post-war or virus. And centrally is the Eight of Swords reversed, of coming out of hiding with issues at work, but now the worst is over and standing up for themselves with help from the Knight of Swords, performing or juggling and doing their thing, released anxiety, but still trying to end the nightmare of sleepless nights perhaps, and challenged by the Four of Wands reversed in a move or a visit or homecoming or instability, post-war and keeping to self, holding back an announcement of reaping rewards, or holding back an announcement of their worth, with the 5D connection or a break, which is laid to rest and insecure, unable to manifest at 9:33, is the Hermit and the Christ vibration of standing up for oneself. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords are present with counsel, doctor, or advice here. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords are both upright here, present with the Hermit upright, in a heated debate with the wounded warrior or mediation, in disconnect or at a distance, with success, attention, and meditation, without tools though, in a losing battle of frustration without growth, and sudden events or epiphanies and or sexual exchange in a 5D connection with the Sovereign reverse or dependent in a falling out with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, perhaps a mother and child, sisters, or two earth signs reversed. And now crowning is the Chariot upright, the High Priestess driving at night, or High Priestess with pet at night, while another is drinking and driving, I hope not, or third party that may be a bad influence and uncomfortable with emotions or unable to see at night, or keeping what they're doing to themselves with the King of Pentacles upright, and holding back an announcement about the injustice of Aquarius and Libra, both reversed, out of control partiers or antisocial. Poor judgment or unable to see at night with the King of Pentacles upright without big love at work, unless it's a third party through work, and the King of Pentacles is released by a big offer of love from dark night offering love to another who's bored with the same old, and trying to end the nightmare of detox and refusing to open up. The King of Swords reversed being weak and maybe shocked by the fact that the King of Cups is also weak, or maybe they're both sick. Or released from energetic vampiring with the Page of Pentacles reversed, who is the opportunist, perhaps the last person anyone would have suspected. The Knight of Pentacles is moving on to the Page of Wands, who may be excited about a vacation, or Leo, Cancer, and Scorpio all upright here. There could be kids and or pets in disconnect or a distance, suddenly or in a sudden event, with an epiphany of the King of Wands, who may all of a sudden be distancing themselves, or suddenly cut off from the kids, or a sudden break from their dependent child or older child, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed not getting along, or with history with them. And soon what's coming up here is the Page of Cups upright, with an open heart, dumping emotional attachments to the fallen angel, or the impatient one who may be unworthy of them, or destined to recover and settle out with the Emperor upright and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, as the Knight of Cups water energy offers love to the wounded warrior who may be tripping out here. But it's also in the block or fears section, so it could just be, you know, what you're imagining. The 955 is the Hermit and the Truth, with a message of love or puppy love, losing patience or discharged, dumping multiple loads or no longer confused, and destined or Libra, recovering together, sharing with Emperor or settling out. And the Emperor may be irritated with the settlement or the sharing, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed may be ungrounded with the Knight of Cups, being loving to Leo or Sagittarius, wounded warrior, about a trip, move, or travel, or asking them for a ride after having ignored them. And now the wounded warrior is really irritated by them. Moving, visiting with the Page of Wands or unstable home, and the Page of Wands may be out driving or taking the show on the road. And again, this could be a new driver. Sagittarius reversed, Libra and Pisces and Aries all upright with Cancer as well. And perhaps a Sagittarius, a defensive driver, needing courage. The twin flames seeing themselves as Luna or the moon upright, where there's romance getting attention and powerless to move, visit, or there may be instability or moving to peace, uncomfortable with emotions or dealing with them, or the King of Cups reversed is without options, but yet free to leave the world or neighborhood if they want to. With Cancer, Aries upright, and Pisces reversed, we have reconciliation, let your friends help, and free yourself. Don't fence me in at 10:07, which is the Wheel of Fortune in the Chariot. So Cancer or fire sign may be spending big to move a home at 10:08. And remember I said 10:08 was significant to me, I don't know why. But 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, 8 is the dance of strength, the manifestation of dreams. So maybe a moving of a home there, or traveling away from uncomfortable emotions. Of the King of Cups reversed, who may be out of options. So a water sign who's not doing well or being manipulative, or maybe they have alcohol or depression issues. And a dependent may be free from their upside down world, maybe getting away from that energy. With Cancer upright, Aries upright, and Pisces reversed, perhaps Cancer or at night with the King of Cups reversed, who may have Pisces in their chart, and the Sovereign reversed may be in Aries, Pisces perhaps, and around the twins are how they're seen as the Seven of Pentacles or Divine Feminine's heart in the Mary Magdalene cave, with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, and the Page of Pentacles reversed in need of help in a heated exchange and or delays. So actually the Seven of Pentacles isn't the Mary Magdalene cave, it's the E Tower, like the Rapunzel Tower. So maybe delays with the Page of Cups, missing their playmate, or a missed opportunity, or the Ten of Pentacles not expressing their true feelings, the family, business, or community, with that Page of Cups, or innocent one, or the Cancer puppy. The block here is the weakness of Leo reversed, or illness, and the need for courage, as the Knight of Cups offers love to the wounded warrior Cancer, or Cancer, Leo, or Sag. The Knight of Cups at 10:17, the Wheel of Fortune and the Star, the Knight of Cups visit with the Page of Wands, Cancer, or traveling and or moving here. We have music as very significant, but even more so is health. Sharing codependency with the King of Swords reversed, and higher self. The Chariot of Pisces and Cancer and Scorpio, or all the water signs, suddenly resting on or taking a break with dependent or powerless to a negative past with the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the King of Swords reversed in their codependent relationship. With higher self or Pisces, lover depressed with the Empress upright, or Gemini and Taurus, or the Empress. Taurus or Empress maybe have depression or arrogance between each other, and the Knight of Pentacles with the Page of Wands may be inspired by a vacation or by exposing a disconnect or distance suddenly with the King of Wands, or Leo Page of Wands, or Scorpio King of Wands, or Pisces between Cancer upright and King of Swords reversed. The King of Swords and the King of Cups are both weak coming up here, both with ego issues or both with pets, but the King of Pentacles is upright. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords may be with the wounded warrior, getting counseling for them. The wounded warrior may be in a heated exchange, or may have run into delay after delay on the road in getting there, so they were late, in a disconnect or at a distance, and traveling to Cancer and Pisces perhaps. And just some extra notes about the Queen of Wands, the Wands family, the Cups family, the Swords, etc. All of the Wands energies were upright except the Queen of Wands. She was reversed, but the Wounded Warrior was upright there, so she may actually be the Wounded Warrior there. The King of Cups and the Queen of Cups were both reversed, but the Knight and Pages were upright. As far as the Swords, the Queen and the Knight were upright, but the King and the Page were reversed. The Emperor and Empress were both upright, but not together. But they're not really apart either. They're on two different timelines right here. They're both upright, though. And what's in between them is the Six of Pentacles. So they could be sharing or settling out with each other. So we have destiny of a disconnect with the Two of Cups reversed, or distance with Libra, with the Twin Flame reversed or dependent, powerless at night to the Divine Feminine's heart, dumping burdens and releasing fears and coming out of hiding. The challenge being a move, a visit, or instability, or that the party's just over. And the Page of Cups upright may be weak or sick, driving to their higher self, or Leo reversed, Sagittarius, or Page of Cups here. Perhaps with Cancer and Pisces there. There may be no options, but to dump responsibilities with the King of Pentacles. Perhaps a powerless dependent here is coming out of hiding and challenged by a move or visit or driving at night, perhaps with the Page of Cups, reaping the rewards of the Divine Feminine's heart and needing strength with the higher self or a Pisces person at 1102, which is Justice and the High Priestess. So there you go. So just a quick couple cards, because I still want to get, I'm going to get at least Virgo in, if not Virgo and Libra today, of my astrological signs. So let's just pull a couple quick cards here. What did I want to pull? I actually wanted to pull my Ascension deck and my Past Life deck, because I haven't pulled from them in a long time. So I'm going to pull from the Past Life deck first. And this will be both uprights and reversals, I think, in this deck. So just see what comes up. And that was one of the first books I read a long time ago, Many Lives, Many Masters. That's Brian Weiss. This is his deck. All right, what is our takeaway from the Past Life deck for the read today? All right, this came right up. The medicine man or woman. So this could be dealing with health issues or shaman things. And again, there's the dream catcher, and we talked a lot about catching your dreams today by using your intention and your wishes, putting them to good use, and really focusing your intention on those positive energies that you want. And we have authority figures here too. So somebody might be in court. Notice there's lots of fairy dust around the gavel here. So again, charge the gavel if you're in court with very high vibrational energy to make sure things go in your favor. Use your abilities. Okay? So it's definitely, you know, native and Aborigine energy here regarding past lives. Let's see what else is coming up with this. The bottom of the deck is the farm. Oh, look, the next card out is the spouse. So we'll get back to that in a second, but I want to show you the bottom of the deck. We have the horse on the farm in the underlying energy for past lives here. So maybe wounds regarding living on a farm coming up for you guys. And again, there's lots of horses in this picture in the barn. And this is reversed. So somebody's getting out of prison or getting out of that imprisonment energy, right? Releasing themselves, no longer trapped, no longer enslaved. And that could be that relationship to the farm, feeling trapped on a farm. Getting rid of phobia. So these are gone because it's the underlying energy. You've gotten rid of phobias, you've gotten rid of imprisonment energies, and now you're going to be working on the farm. Okay? And they can be all different kinds of farms. It doesn't have to be your typical farm, but it has to do with the medicine man or woman. So this could actually be living on a farm in an Indian tribe. This can also be having to deal with the courts regarding your farm, perhaps losing your farm, right, to the government. And then we have the spouse and living with your spouse on the farm. And this, they're all coming up upright though, so very positive energies. Because the wars and battles, you got through that already. And also the persecution inquisition card is done. So you've gotten through a lot of your wounds, but this is the focus that's coming up for you guys. Right? Court issues, issues with the natives of the land and farms, the medicine people, whether it's modern doctors or ancient doctors, authority figures in courts, and then marriages, spouses. And I'm getting the trappings. You know how Heidi and Seal came up today? Right? You don't have to try to prove so much to each other. Just being kind to each other every day and being present every day is what it takes to have a loving relationship, you know? Just the simple kindnesses of every day. Being gracious to each other, but also standing up for yourself at the same time. So we have the farm and those energies we discussed. I was just getting disgusted. Someone's saying disgusted. Or discussions as well. And again, I'm getting prejudices coming up with those different situations that I brought up. All the prejudices around that. Right? Seeing people who live on farms, the prejudices around seeing them as less than. The same thing with perhaps a privileged husband and wife. and what they're supposed to do to have to keep each other in the status they're accustomed to. And dowries came up in this read. And then the courts having to settle things that are very personal with law when it should be with love. And then of course the natives, when we know all the troubles that the natives have had with other people trying to take over their homes. All right, so what is our takeaway from the Ascension read, the Ascension deck here? Archangel Metatron, the 27, which is the same number for the other deck. You are blessed to receive this card, for the mighty universal Archangel Metatron, who is coordinating the ascension of the planet, is touching you. It's like the magnetic service of the planet. He's illuminating your aura with his golden orange, which is the planet that came up in the read today. So Metatron's coming up with that as well. He is illuminating your aura with his golden orange light as he works with your stellar gateway chakra. Your message is to relax and allow Metatron's wings to enfold you. Ask to visit him as Ascension retreat in Luxor during meditation or sleep so that you can receive his guidance. This may come as a thought, a whisper, or a feeling. When you ask sincerely for help on your ascension journey, Metatron will open new doors for you and guide you. So remember that came up in the read too, to make sure you have very focused intent on your wishes, especially if it's a birthday wish. Affirmation, I attuned to Archangel Metatron today. So you're being guided to connect with Metatron right now. Okay. This card also came up. Look at that. Jesus came up too. 40 is the Page of Cups, that innocence. Jesus came from Venus, the planet of love. He was sent to Earth to carry the Christ light at a time when the energy was very low. He incarnated as an Essene and received spiritual teachings throughout his childhood and adult life. And then he underwent many initiations to prepare his energy centers to carry the vibration of unconditional love. This card reminds you that all challenging people and situations are tests to prepare you for ascension. To pass these tests, you need to respond to them with unconditional love and balance. Remember, there's only love. The affirmation is, I respond with unconditional love today. And remember that balance means something different to everybody. That's why you can't necessarily learn from everybody else, because your balance may be different than their balance, because we all err to the side of different things. I'm not going to read these two, but Thoth and Fire Dragons are also coming up here. The 31 of Thoth. Let's see if I can bring that up closer. Okay, and then let's see if I can focus it a little better for Fire Dragons. Okay, and then the Fire Dragons, number 7, which is the Chariot. Okay, to clearing the road to ascension. And again, Thoth, my life and health are in perfect harmony. So that's to do with more the scientific end of things and healthcare. The bottom of the deck is Pallas Athena, which is 48. I use the sword or the word of truth to lead the way. And the 48 is the walking away within of the 8 of Cups. Okay. And a quick energy card for you, and then we'll be set. It's like you're really getting back to the very, very beginning, right? The very beginning of the first marriage, right? A very simple life, a farm life where the first wounds were created, being the natives to the land, like newly on the planet, and those who would dare to judge you or decide for you what you're supposed to do next. What is the takeaway from this read, please? Metatron, what is the takeaway from this read? Metatron, the happy family, the rainbow bridge where everyone connects and is loving to each other. The 4 is the Emperor, the stability of holding hands and taking a rest in the sunshine, taking a break, a vacation, to enjoy your family. Don't forget to take those breaks. There's your answer from Metatron. Number 40, so Jesus came up with 40, and here's Metatron, and this deck has 40, the innocent one. Okay, so we have the sun, and here's the sun again, because Jesus just came up as number 40, and Metatron. And then here's the 4 over here again, of the Emperor, which is the Emperor and his inner child, the Page of Cups. And the sun between, the light between, the energy between. That's really pretty. So I asked Metatron and he answered. So all about family and rest right now. It is summertime, time for vacation and balance. Walking away within, again, the 48. The bottom of the deck is the man holding a heart, purging the wounds. And after dealing with the home and the union, perhaps someone who's anxious about leaving the house, the garden and the gate. Perhaps dealing with a child, or perhaps issues getting along with a child. Or if you're not doing what they want anymore, now they're not talking to you. But that was coming up in the reads yesterday for Leo. All right. All right, so I'm going to do at least Virgo today next, so stay tuned for that if you want it. And otherwise, remember your water. You need your water to connect. So important. Whether it's showers, drinking, salt baths, salt is really good to clear your aura, so don't forget about that as well. I use it in a scrub. You can just use salt as a scrub too. And yeah, remember your joy in nature and to remain playful and like a child. Rise and be love, love and rise, and I'll see you soon, guys. Have an amazing day. Bye, guys.